everyday witches emerge from the shadows of secrecy. Broom closets are flinging open and witches are taking flight. Whether you are hiding in your cozy closet or flying with pride, stay for a spell as Witchcasting with Theodora Pendragon and her guests share magical moments, stir the cauldron, and debunk misinformation and misconceptions about paganism, witches, and our wonderful world of magic.
Today, our special guest is Lily McNamara, who is a psychic spiritual advisor and the owner of Lily of the Light, LLC. Welcome, Lily.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm glad you found me on Facebook.
Yes. Us old timers, we gotta, people ask, why do you use Facebook so much? I'm like, it's because it's what I brought up. I'm familiar with it. I love it.
Yeah, I guess that's the old folks' place, right?
Yes, but that's okay. We're fun there.
Lily of the Light. What do you offer?
I offer services and events to help people rock their authentic self and be the hero of their own story. I do this through the Samhain Symposium, which is one of the most consciously inclusive pagan events in the country in Minneapolis, and then through monthly memberships to help people with a myriad of spiritual modalities and techniques to help them just love themselves and have clarity and awesomeness in their life.
You know what? That sounds simple, but I know it's not.
So I started training when I was 10 years old because I had a mother who loved me and she saw that I was really gifted. And so she wanted me to have formal training at a very young age. And when I started training, I realized the beautiful and horrible truth that we are all very, very different. And no one needs the same thing for their healing, spiritual awakening, growth, past lives, anything. And so I became slightly obsessed with learning as many modalities as possible to help as many people as possible. So I got really into different kinds of training very early just because I loved how different everyone was and coming at it from you are completely unique. Let's help you in a way that only you need help type thing. So there's nothing cookie cutter or Instagrammable about the work that I do. I try to make it as nitty gritty and raw as possible.
Can we go back to what your mom saw in you when she decided to help you with your training?
Absolutely. My mother is, we were all raised very Catholic. But despite that, and despite literally a psychiatrist telling her that I was insane and that I should be institutionalized, my mother instead went, my kid is gifted and blessed and sees spirits and knows what's going to happen before it happens and is able to help people. And so my mom, instead of sending me literally to a psych ward, decided to find me a mentor at the age of 10.
Wow. You're a lucky duck.
Yes, I don't think I would have done well in an institute because she had heard me talking about spirits my whole life. And when this was brought up to a psychiatrist once, it was like, oh my gosh, your kid is schizophrenic. Mom was like, I don't feel that in my soul. I don't feel like my kid is mentally unstable. Just being honest with my mom about what I saw was able to have me start my journey so much sooner. And I get that that's a privilege. Not every parent is a badass, okay?
What did you see that you shared with your mom?
There were two very specific things that I talked about a lot, and it wasn't until I was much older and in training that I understood it. When I was a very, very small child, I saw a man in the room with me multiple times. He was tall. He had long, thinning hair. He had a giant, stomach. He had jagged teeth, and he scared the crap out of me because I am a child and I am seeing a strange man and don't know who he is that no one else can see. And then I saw a woman wearing all black in the basement a lot who scared the crap out of me as a kid. And I told my mom about these things, and I was so scared of them because I didn't know who they were and I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I was seeing people. When I got older and started my training, I realized that specifically with the man, it was someone from a past life saying thank you. I was a nun during the Black Plague in France, and I helped people die using my gifts of mediumship and everything that came with me through my lives. I helped people die, and he was one of them. So that scary man was just there to say thank you. And once I acknowledged it, he has never come back. I'm like, you are very welcome. I appreciate the effort that you had to put into to do this. So once that happened, it was totally fine. So it was just seeing spirits was what got it going.
And you found out about your previous life as a nun. How?
Through training, with my mentor when I was young, because it was, well, what got this started? What do you see? And explaining him to a medium, to my mentor who was a medium. They were like, oh, let's figure this out. And so it was through training that I figured out who he was. And now when I talk to spirits or angels or ancestors or anything like that, I can identify it because I've had training. But that's how it all started, with that one guy and that woman in black.
That one guy and the woman in black, do you still see them?
Nope. Once I acknowledged and said, you're welcome to the guy, he never came back. And the woman I haven't seen in years and years. And she was just a part of like my childhood. And then she never came back.
Let's go into the services that you provide and the events. You also provide events, and you help people be the hero of their own story. And that's the way it should be, isn't it?
Yes, that is for many reasons. But my branding, my business and everything, I love superheroes like a lot. I will debate them with people. And that's where my branding came from, and stuff that it's all about superheroes and being the hero of your own story. And so I love that aspect of it, being a superhero. One of the tiny humans in my life used to call me the other Wonder Woman. And that's where my branding came from. When someone was actually like, yes, you are a superhero, I was like, yes, I am. But then the other part is we give away our power so much to other people in the form of someone's meant to fix it for me. And by all means, have teachers, mentors, yes. And it's all about you. You manifest your life. You heal your life. You expand your gifts. It's all about you. And the idea that someone's going to come along and either like grant you a magic wish like Santa or have a miracle fix for you isn't real. I want people to feel empowered to do it themselves, and let me help you do that. It's all about you. You are the hero of your own story. We all are. And so getting rid of that myth that there's someone who's going to come and fix us or save us. That, once I meet that one friend, or once I meet that one boyfriend, or then my life will fall into place. I'm like, the person you have to meet is you. So once you meet the real you and allow your authenticity to shine, you won't need anybody else. It'll be lovely to have people in your life that like help you grow and thrive, but you are all you need.
Yes. Would you agree that is really hard to learn? I know that you help them, but do you see people coming to you who really worry about what other people think, or they try to conform to other people, whatever they think that is, those opinions, judgments?
I think like a generalization, yes, definitely. And the complexity of it goes back to how you were raised. If you were raised in shame or self-doubt, it takes a lot to overcome that hump. I have met so many women who are beautiful psychics and amazing with their spiritual awakening. If there's self-doubt, but is this right? Am I doing this right? Is this okay? Am I allowed to see this? Am I allowed to do this? And I'm like, as long as you don't punch me in the face, I'm fairly chill with whatever happens in the session. But so if you're raised in a very confining self-doubt way, it makes it so much harder. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't acknowledge, that you're not just dealing with your authentic you, how you were raised, your past lives. There are many contributing factors to shape your spiritual journey. It's not just like a straight path. Yay!
What you're saying is that we have to unlearn things.
Yes. And for some unlucky people, they have to unlearn a lot.
Yeah, sometimes that's a lifetime process, unlearning things.
Absolutely. Let's be honest. No matter how badass you are at what you do, and I consider myself high king shit in my industry, through 20 years of experience helping thousands of people around the world, I still catch myself. I'm like, ooh, that was an old paradigm. All right, gonna unpack that this weekend. And so, yeah, you're constantly learning, and it's amazing to constantly learn. It's not, once you embrace it for the epic self-discovery that it is, it's no longer daunting. It's just, look, it's fun. It's an adventure.
Do you also continue to learn from your clients?
Yes. I never want to stop learning. I little sassy thought is, if I ever meet a professional practitioner or reader and they're like, I know everything. No, you don't. Stop talking to me. We are not going to be friends. Sit at another table. I always want to learn. I never think that I know everything. I know a lot at this point, and I'm comfortable saying that, but I love even learning new things, but then it's the added seeing a client who is at a spot I can identify in my life from a decade ago or 5 years ago or whatever, and seeing all the trials that they're going through and helping them and being like, oh, I've been there, let me help you. And seeing that reflection is so cool to me, because it's not only am I seeing it from a different perspective because a client is going through it, I'm also helping them with my perspective, having already gone through it.
Can you give an example of that?
It was actually really recently that I had one of my membership clients that I've been working with for several years, and she had a slight setback and had fallen back into a victim mindset. And it was specifically with, some people have a problem with confrontation. And as much as I seem to be an extrovert and very loud, which, yes, but I also have a lot of social anxiety. I also have a lot of self-doubt. I also don't like confrontation very much. And so having to get over those humps for me were really hard. And then seeing my client not be able to advocate for herself at work because it made her uncomfortable, which means she had to go to the boss instead of dealing with the colleague face to face. That's a unhealed thing for somebody. You need to be able to be comfortable with yourself to tell another person, this is what I need, instead of going and telling the teacher or the boss right away. You have to be able to have that awkward conversation, and she wasn't able to. And it actually caused her to lose her job. When I saw that, I was like, oh, we need to work on this. This is something, you need to get over this hump of being uncomfortable. Just do it. It's weird because we put ourselves in these situations where oh, I can't do that. But then you do it and you go, oh, that was like a pine cone up the ass, but I did it and now I learned it. Now you can do it. And so that was the most recent one where I saw her and I'm like, oh, you are so conflict averse that it's causing problems. I used to be that way. And I was like, oh, we can help you. Come on, let's go.
Who is your typical client?
That has actually evolved beautifully over the years. Currently, I deal with a lot of entrepreneurs, specifically 6-figure and higher neurodivergent entrepreneurs, which is a niche. I've seen many people who are just doing their spiritual awakening and have slightly pagan leanings, but currently those are the clients who are naturally being attracted to me. And we do a lot of business talk and astrology charts to learn where their weaknesses are in their business.
Do you also read astrology charts?
I incorporate it. I am not an astrologer. I want to be clear. I am not that badass. I would love to be that badass. I am not. I'm much better at tarot. I'm a badass at tarot. Absolutely. I incorporate it into the readings and where's your Jupiter and what boundaries do you have with Saturn and stuff like that to help clients figure out exactly where their strengths are to be able to move through conflict better.
Do you have many member clients who are psychics and mediums, astrologers, tarot readers?
The answer to that is all of them. So I am a big believer that we all have gifts of some way, shape, or form, and they are gorgeous and fabulous, and some of them are dormant, and some of us scream them from the rooftops with a megaphone and glitter. One of the big things I do with my clients is that I help them understand their intuition and awaken their intuition and hone it so that they can answer their own questions and lead their own life. And I am there for support and to clarify and to affirm. A lot of times, I had a client recently who is starting a mobile dog washing business, and she had questions about like the name and like the cities that she should be doing it in. And I said, give me your answer. What do you want? And she got her psychic answer. And then I was like, that's the psychic answer that I get too. Good job. You used it. And then we celebrate and validate the fact that her psychic pings were spot on for her.
I love psychic pings. They're instant, but we have to listen.
Yes. Yes.
Can you give any advice on developing your intuition? Some people haven't really developed their intuition. We all have intuition, but it has to be developed.
So I have a few answers with this. First, of course, just come see me and I'll help.
Yes, we can do that.
That's the sassy answer. Here's the other answer. It will not look like the movies ever for any reason at all, no matter what. That is glamorized. Even like the reality TV shows of psychics, that's not what we look like. We are far more fabulous in person than you will ever see on a TV show. You need to start small. Everyone wants to start with like, I'm going to channel God. And no, that's not how you start. You start super small. And honestly, the one that I tell people to start with, because no matter what we all eat, we are in a human body. So use your intuition to find what food you need to eat in the moment that your soul is craving by being attracted to it. So stand there with the fridge open and just look and see what psychic pings you get. The other big part of just starting is figuring out what flavor of psychic you are. Are you clairvoyant? Do you see things? Are you clairsentient? Do you just get a feeling? Are you clairaudient? Is there a little whisper in your ear telling you what your psychic ping is? All of those are different. It's that Einstein thing. If you try to teach a fish to climb a tree, they're going to think they're stupid their entire life. And that is what psychic abilities are. If you are so upset that you are not clairvoyant, you don't even look at any other psychic ability, you will be disappointed and feel like a failure your entire life, even if you may be the best clairaudient in the world. You'll never see it because you're so hyper-focused on something that you don't have. So learn what type of psychic you are, and then use that gift and those gifts to grow your intuition.
Yeah, I learned that years ago because I tried to receive visions. Well, I only receive visions in a split second when I'm not asking for them. The rest of the time, it's my own voice talking to me. Don't do that. Don't drive down there. Don't drive down that road. No.
That subsect of clairaudient, my mom, bless her cotton socks, she had me growing up. And that was very difficult for her because she saw me and the gifts that I had, and she didn't understand why she wasn't gifted. And it took when I was been doing this professionally for like a decade before she discovered what her gifts were, because she constantly just looked at me and was like, but they don't look alike. They should look alike. We're mother and child. It's like, oh no, it's not going to look the same. And it took her a decade to be able to acknowledge that, because all she was doing was comparing. And it's like, oh, don't compare. Don't compare. You're fabulous in your own right. Look at yourself. Focus on you.
How fabulous is she? What did she discover?
So my mom she designs labyrinths, and she is a choreographer. So she is amazingly creative and talented. And she has clairsentient. And so she has the sensations in her body. If she will get the gut feeling, but also if a spirit is around, she can feel them hug her. She can feel them holding her hand. And I always tell people, I'm like, I know literally dozens of people who would kill to feel their loved ones hug again. Do not think that any gift is minimal or dismissible or anything like that. It's not. Some of these gifts that you're dismissing are things that people would literally kill to be able to experience. And so I always tell people, look at your own. They're fabulous. They're fabulous the way they are. That's my mother's awesomeness. She's very clairsentient. She's very good at it.
Want to change the subject a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
How do you add magic into your daily life?
Oh, do the mundane things with zazzle. A lot of people think that magic needs to happen in big, elaborate ways, which is awesome. Let's be honest. We are divas, every one of us. A production with a high protocol ritual is fabulous. We deserve to be in the movies. But let's be honest, not all of us have that amount of time every day. And magic should be in your everyday life. And so I always tell people, I'm like, when you stir your coffee, you are stirring a potion and treat it as such. When you are brushing your teeth or showering, you are cleansing. Treat it as such and do the spell or the ritual or the meditation or the intention with it. Take the mundane and make it magical. Put things into your life that make it magical. So like I said, those examples, but then it's also when you're traveling, I always like to think of how am I transforming my life whenever I travel? And so it's just shifting your energy to allow magic into your daily life, however it looks. The clothes that you wear, if it's a color, you can do color magic. If it's a style, you can imbue that with certain intentions. There are many different ways to level up your magic in your daily life that don't add any, oh my gosh, it's going to take me 3 hours to do this. No, it's going to take you 2 minutes to tie your shoe and do knot magic with that. To set the intention and tie the knot with your shoe, it'll take you less than 2 minutes. We all learned when we were in kindergarten, first grade, to do knots. Do knot magic with your shoes. Absolutely.
One thing I learned when I was, how old was I? I must have been 14 or 15. I had this magic book that my grandmother gave me. It was a book of spells. The chapters were introductions to different types of magic. And one of them said that you should always start your day by putting on your right sock and your right shoe first. And that means you're going to have a wonderful day. And ever since then, I've always put my right foot in my right shoe first. And as I'm doing that, I always say to myself, today is going to be a wonderful day.
Oh, I love that. So that reminds me of a weird story about magic that is really important, that there are rules that we all must follow, absolutely, and ethics. And it needs to be for you. I took an amazing class about the Iron Pentacle once, and it was written by 2 right-handed and right-footed people. I am left-handed, left-footed, and left-eyed. And so when we taught the class, the right foot did something, the right-handed, and I raised my hand and I was like, what if the right side isn't your dominant side? What if the left side is? And they said, we've never had a left-handed person or a left-footed or anything do this exercise. So we have no idea. And everything was a mirror for me. So everything that they said for the right hand was actually my left hand, and same with the feet. And it's because it was my dominant side. And so whenever I hear people go, okay, you do this side first. And I'm like, I always wonder if it's mirrored for me because my dominant is so left-sided. And so I love those stories where it's like, oh, yes, do this. It's like, yes, do it with your own flavor. It's fabulous.
Are you saying that you should put on your left shoe first?
I would probably put on my left shoe first. Yes, I would. I am goofy-footed. I would put on my left shoe first.
Have you been wanting to ride your broom like you stole it, rather than hiding in the shadows? Theodora Pendragon is here to help your magic shine, whether you want to show the world your subtle sparkle, or you really want to light your fire. Visit Theodora's online store at witchcasting.shop. That's witchcasting.shop. Remember, there's never been a better time to be a witch.
You said that magic belongs in our lives every day. What you're saying, in every way. So personal, business. How would you incorporate that in your business?
Oh God, thank you so much for this question. I geek out so much over this. I have lots of clients, like I said, who are entrepreneurs in 6 figures and more. And I have several clients who are like best-selling smut authors and own resorts in Costa Rica and stuff like that. And the reason I bring this up is because the challenges of running a business are very different once you hit a certain income bracket. Everything changes, and you incorporate magic into it a little bit differently. Like, I had a client once who had a lawsuit against them, and they were walking into like the court session, and they called me and they're like, what? And I did a 3-card reading. I was like, what do you need to focus on? What are you missing? What's going to be the outcome? And we did it. And he was super pissed about the reading. He did not like it. He did not agree with it. He went in. He called me several hours later after the hearing. His energy was electric. He's like, what did you do? I did everything you said. I didn't want to, but I did everything you said, and everything went my way. Even things that no one thought would go my way. Everything went my way from a 3-card reading. And it's like, and that was his business. Like, that saved him hundreds of thousands of dollars because he followed a 3-card reading. I have clients who, before they work with someone or do a partnership with someone, they will get their birth date, time, and place. And then I will do a side-by-side astrology thing. And I'm like, do your Jupiters get along? Can you communicate well with each other? Where are your shortcomings and stuff? So that's another big one that in business that we do. It's also like the plan of like setting up what your priorities are in your business. Whenever my clients are going to make a big turn in their business, we'll do a priorities, like a step-by-step. It's like you do this first, this second, this third. And that's through like a tarot reading and psychic mediumship. And then the last really cool example of doing it in business that I do with my clients is one of my clients is a best-selling smut author, and she took me with, air quotes, she took a laptop with, to a writer's retreat. And every single writer who was at that retreat sat in front of the laptop with me over Zoom, and they got a reading about what they were going to do on that retreat. So character development, conflict, whatever came up is what they worked on the retreat, and they were able to do their books better. And with this specific client, what we do is we will have sessions, and then their spirit guide will come in, who is dedicated to their authorship, to their writing journey. And we will talk through books, and the spirit guide will talk through me and say, oh, this character and this setting. And we'll outline books during that time using a spirit guide. And she has multiple best-selling series now. You can incorporate magic in so many ways. It is so much fun. I love working with my clients who incorporate it into their business. It makes for just an amazing experience.
How do you recommend people incorporate magic in love? Please don't say a love spell.
God, I didn't even think of that. Oh my, that to everyone listening, that shows you how not that I never crosses my mind. Whenever I'm like love spell, I'm like, why? Oh yeah, people do that. I respect everyone, but why? Honestly, the first two things that I thought of was I have a lot of people who will come and do like a tarot reading, and I'll do 3 different sets of cards. So it's a reading for, let's do hetero just because it'll be easy to work with the binary. We'll do one for the male, we'll do one for the female, and then we'll do one for them as a couple. So we'll see who the guy is, who the girl is, and how they work together as a couple. Like, what will hold them back? What are their hurdles? What are the things that they need to work on? What are the things that they are really, really good at, and what their future holds? So doing like a tarot reading, if you have someone in mind, is really good to do. I love compatibility with tarot, astrology, any technique to find compatibility. I am totally into it. And then it's a really powerful one with love is 2 different things. One, get a reading or do self-discovery on what you need to work on and heal to attract your ideal mate. Because sitting here and going, I just keep attracting the same douche canoe, and I don't know why. And it's like, fact. Now, what do you have control over? You're the hero of your own story. What do you have control over? You better find out what inside you gives off the pheromone of I am a doormat so that you can snuff it out and let it die in a ditch so that you can find the love of your life. So work on you. For love, I know it sounds so silly. It's like, but it's about the other person. No, it's not. It's about you. You need to work on you. But I'll find someone who loves me the way I am. That last douche canoe loved you just the way you were too. So who do you want to attract? So it's that. But then it's also another part of the self-discovery. Okay. The author of this book is very problematic, and I am well aware of it. And it is a good jumping off point. So the love languages, finding how you give and receive and being able to articulate that concisely is so important in your love life. And it's like, but that's not magic. Self-discovery is magical, baby. The more you learn about yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you accept yourself is magical. This is a hill I will die on. Food is its own love language, and it has several subsects. I am a food love language person. So many people in my personal life, it's like, I had an ex who would keep a candy bar in his pocket or in his bag, and he would just hand it to me whenever I was upset or down or anything like that. And I literally thought that he was like, oh my gosh, like he psychically knows when I'm going to be upset. No, he told me months into the relationship, I know that you like food. I know that you do better with food. And so I always have a candy bar in my bag. And whenever I give it to you, I just buy another one in my bag. So there's always one available for you. If you are not feeling loved or appreciated, it's already there and I can give it to you. And I was just like, that is so hot. That right there is my love language. You keep chocolate on your person at all times, just in case I might possibly, for any reason, need chocolate. Oh yeah, that's a love language for me. That hits me in the feels. Absolutely.
So did you keep this guy?
No. He was great with the chocolate, but we were not compatible. I'm a big believer in people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And his was definitely a reason. He taught me so many things about my own boundaries that I didn't know before. This was in my early 20s. And yeah, I do not regret it. And I also learned that like that's now a standard, that I get a regular supply of chocolate. And I'm able to articulate that to every single person that I have dated since. I'm like, just to be aware, you will have to tell me the amount of money that you're willing to spend on food for me each month so that I'm aware of it. Otherwise, I will like just expect food every day.
That's cute.
Yes.
Do you have any helpful tips for us?
If it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. I'm a big believer in try everything twice because the first time might have been a fluke, so try it again. There are a few things that I'm not okay with this. Like I tried sushi once. Once was enough. I'm good. It's a texture thing for me. But with your spirituality, with your awakening, with your practice, with your ritual, there are certain things like when we talked about a love spell, I was like, I will never do one. I always knew that I loved healing stones. It was one of the first things that I was attracted to. One of the more magical things that I was attracted to was candle magic. So I was naturally gravitated towards this. So I always did that. If there are things that an instructor or a mentor is like, you have to do it this way, unless it's for safety or like ethics, you don't. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. There are so many belief systems out there and ways to do things that if it's not that one way, I have had so many people. We talked about unlearning earlier in this episode, that we have to unlearn self-doubt. There are many things that we have to unlearn from the first spiritual and pagan teachers that we've had because they taught it their way as if it was the only way. It is not the only way. I have had countless clients, literally hundreds, who come to me and a few of them cry the second they walk in and say, I am broken because I'm not like my teacher. And my response is always the same. What's your teacher's email? I would love to talk to them in a dark alley alone. If it doesn't resonate, don't do it. Do not beat yourself up because you're not like somebody else. That is not the way it's supposed to be. And unless it's ethics or consent or safety, like, just make it your own. You are you. You are unique. Be awesome. Sorry, that was a tangent, but yes, that is my helpful hint.
And that's why you're going to be putting your first shoe on your left foot.
Yes. Yes. Because even like I was thinking about it and like visualizing it, and I'm like, I'm trying to think if I've ever put it just doesn't feel like visualizing it and thinking about how I put my shoes on. I honestly don't think I could. I always do the left foot first. I can't. So no, I'm sitting there going, if someone said like the right foot will make all your dreams come true and you're going to be a multimillionaire and be able to like feed the poor and help people forever, I would switch to the right foot. I would be determined to right foot it. Short of that, short of unicorns shitting rainbows, it's like the left just feels so natural for me to like lead with all the time.
Yeah. And really, it is the power of the mind. That's what it comes down to. It's not the shoes, it's the mind.
Yes, it's the intention. Words, thoughts have power, have meaning. Be very, not like paranoid, but be very clear about what you think and how you think it, and allow that to be your authentic voice. I call it the hobgoblin. My hobgoblin looks like a dirty sock puppet, and he goes, "Oh, you suck. Everyone hates you. Everyone knows you're a fraud. Maybe you should lay down and die." That is literally what my sock puppet sounds like. And it is a hobgoblin. So not that voice, that little voice in your head that tells you suck. What does your voice sound like? What does your voice tell you is right for you? And listen to that voice and let that voice be your thoughts and your actions and your intention and have it all align.
Exactly. It really is simple when you think about it. We just have to unlearn the garbage from our past.
Yeah, and start small and simple. Don't start with the big stuff. People laugh at me that breathing and water are the two things that I hyper focus on with clients when they first start working with me. And people go, "Why? Everyone knows how to breathe. Everyone drinks water." And I'm like, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many people have not taken a deep, calming breath in years. How many people don't drink. I had someone say, "Mountain Dew counts." And I was like, "Oh, that's not water." They're like, "It's fluid." And I'm like, I acknowledge it's a fluid, but that's as far as I'm going.
Tell us how we can find you online.
So I am a good millennial. I am on a lot of different social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's all Lily of the Light. And I did it that way. I would love to say that it's like, oh my gosh, it's brand cohesion, Lily of the Light. I did it so that it would be so easy for me. I didn't want to have a bunch of usernames. So it's all Lily of the Light. And then my website is lilyofthelight.com. And that's, of course, the same with the email, lily@lilyofthelight.com.
You have a TikTok and a YouTube. Yeah. So what do you post on those two platforms?
All right. So this will get a little technical for the listeners. I'm so sorry. But buckle up. It's going to be fabulous. So the algorithms are constantly changing, but YouTube is actually the second biggest search engine. So you want to post things that are very nutrient dense and more long form, and then you'll break it up into shorts to be your YouTube shorts that are like 60 seconds. They are so militant about the 60 seconds in that one. So it's more long form and nutrient dense on there. That's where I post. So my podcast is only on YouTube because it's all video and because I am very animated and I want people to see me being a cartoon character all the time. And so that's YouTube. And then TikTok, it is clips of the podcast, but then also it's a lot of daily affirmations. It's me in my pajamas a lot because I love authenticity. I love that you don't have to be all done up to be spiritual or taken seriously. So it's affirmations, it's tarot readings for the different zodiacs during when it's like the full moon, new moon, or like when it becomes like the next season. So like Aries season or Pisces, when we move into that next season, I'll do live tarot readings for each zodiac sign. Those are the normal things that I post. And then of course, like tips and tricks are just fun. And occasionally you'll get weird posts about my life, like how incorporating magic into daily life that gets talked about because sometimes self-care is not planned. There is a delightful story about that. Last week, I thought my house was burning down. Literally, not figuratively. I ran around my house. So I smelled smoke and I was like, oh, it's clairalient. It's smell. I don't want to talk to a spirit right now. But for more than a minute, it continued smelling even after I like disregarded it. And I was like, I think my house is on fire. And I ran around my house trying to find it, just thinking cell phone, laptop. Like, you don't got to wear a bra outside. You just got to get outside. Your house is burning down. And I thought it was my back deck. And so I ripped open the blinds and saw a controlled burn happening down by the pond by like workers 10 feet from my house. And I was like, I was not told that that was going to happen. I had all of the best laid plans for my life that day, but I was like, thinking my house was going to burn down really dysregulated me. So I had one meeting, and after that, I'm like, I'm not doing anything for the rest of the day. The rest of the day is self-care because I'm rather attached to my house and all of the stuff in it. I am a Cancer. My house is part of me. So thinking that it was going to die really did something to me. So that gets posted on social media. I'm like, so just in case you're wondering, self-care can happen out of nowhere.
That's cute. My moon is in Cancer, so my home is very important to me as well.
Yes.
Do you have any last takeaways for the listeners today?
When in doubt, ask for help. So as much as you are growing your own intuition and self-doubt may plague you sometimes, ask for help, and ask for help from people that you trust and authorities in the field. Don't just ask Google. Ask people who actually know what your beliefs are and are truly willing to help you, because that is where a lot of misinformation comes from, and that can really hinder your magical experience, is thinking that everyone has the answers except you. Find the people who actually want to help you and just allow them to help.
Thank you for that. Well, thank you, Lily of the Light, for being my special guest. You've been a very cheerful guest, I have to add.
I got so much sleep. It was fabulous. Because let me tell you what, the last few days, I was not cheerful. I was like, I am a zombie, and I'm fairly certain that I have melded with my couch. But now after 2 days of not having energy, I finally have energy. So I am like really enjoying it, over the top happy with the fact that I am like have energy today. So yes, I am a very cheerful person today. Last 2 days.
Okay, so today's a good day. And considering Mercury is in retrograde, we're doing pretty well.
Yes, it is. I'm elated that everyone made it through the eclipse. Like that was some energy.
Thank you again, Lily, for being my guest.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Thank you for joining us for Witchcasting with Theodora Pendragon. Have a burning question or have a topic you'd love Theodora and her guests to discuss on the show? Contact her through Instagram at Theodora Pendragon. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And help us spread the word by leaving us a rating and review and sharing it with your friends. See you next time, and may your magic always shine.